like CSS because the teachers are nice and they give lots of education.
I love CSS because it's a very pretty campus.
I love CSS because the campus is really pretty, and also I guess my friends, I haven't been bullied at all.
I love CSS because we are a community that puts kids first through our innovation, through our forward thinking, and through our passion.
I love CSS because of the small class size and extracurricular opportunity.
I like CSS because I like to learn new things and have fun.
I love CSS because we have such a small and tight-knit community where everyone is accepting of each other.
I love CSS because it's a good school.
I love CSS because it's here that my dreams came true. I always wanted to be a music teacher.
I love CSS because the teachers in CSS protect us.
I love CSS because my teachers are super passionate about helping me understand their subject.
I love CSS because it's the best school ever.
I love CSS for so many reasons, not just the kids, but the fact that the kids love learning as much as they do. The experiences that they get to have, whether they're going on a dinosaur fossil dig or hanging out outside and just exploring rocks and minerals, learning about the Arctic. Anything they do is hands-on, and they are excited and can't wait to move forward and gain as much knowledge as they can.
Hello, I'm Tambi Tyler, and welcome. I'm so proud to be the 10th head of school at this historic institution. You know, we've been creating scholars and leaders through innovative education for nearly 60 years, and the future is even brighter than our storied past. It is really our amazing faculty and committed students who make CSS a unique and special place. As head of school, I have the opportunity and responsibility to deliver the annual State of School address. This annual report on our progress provides all the CSS stakeholders and potential new members of our school community with a detailed view where the school has been, where we are today, and most important, where we're going. Of course, that's a fancy way of saying our past, present, and future. A lot has happened since I arrived on campus in June. First off, we immediately recognized how quickly our everyday lives here and around the world had changed due to the coronavirus pandemic. In the first days here, the team and I developed a COVID-19 task force and executed campus walkthroughs to develop mitigation protocols for the pandemic. To create more space for safe and social distance instruction, we demolished a wall to maximize classroom space. We provided plexiglass dividers for classrooms, and we purchased PPE, personal protective equipment, for all of our faculty and staff. We also researched and provided strategy around a potential reopening, all while our state and local officials drafted guidelines for school leaders. Not only did we have COVID to deal with, but we also experienced a hailstorm that damaged the roofs of many of our buildings, which required attention and action. We did manage to save Fiddler by having an outdoor theater performance of Fiddler on the Roof. What made this even more special, this was the final performance directed by the beloved and cherished Sandy Bray, Director of the Arts at CSS. She retired after being loyal and committed to the CSS student body for nearly 30 years. We celebrated the graduates of 2020 with a social distance graduation ceremony. As we head into the school year, our committed faculty and staff continue to face head-on a lot of uncertainty and change. But I am emboldened by their and the entire CSS family's ability to embrace innovation to continue our mission. In partnership with an army of volunteers, we also built outdoor pergolas. And with the help of supportive families, volunteers, and friends of CSS, we are all making a difference. Despite the tricky September weather, the reopening of the Colorado Springs School has happened. And that is why we love CSS. In the face of adversity, we rise and succeed. The state of our school is strong and vibrant and renewed. Today, September 30th, 2020, we are embarking on a new and revolutionary chapter in the school's history. We are rekindling the fire of our enthusiasm for everything CSS has been, is today, and will be tomorrow. History tells us that our first headmistress, Margaret Campbell, in the early 1960s made an indelible impression on not just the students, but the Colorado Springs community. She did it both as a woman of influence, intellectual vision, and impact. Margaret's vision brought experiential education to life. Through many generous donors, Margaret's vision, and a committed group of families, they were able to make the acquisition of the Trianon possible. This rich history has shaped our school and showcases its strength today as we have reopened the school during an historic pandemic and made mitigation decisions to preserve the richness of the school as its signature programs, all while making adjustments to a historic building. And despite the present-day challenges we face, our 28-acre campus with its 10 buildings is poised for the future as we write new chapters in the Colorado Springs School's history book. For example, 2020 marks several noteworthy historic markers. This year marks 50 years since our first male students entered the 7th and 8th grade in our middle school program. 22 years since the first pre-K students arrived in the children's school. 20 years since the boarding program ended. 20 years since the Colorado Springs School has had a woman head of school. We were founded on innovation, uniqueness, and cutting-edge programming. So there should be no question that we're making yet again historical and innovative strides in the Colorado Springs school community this year. CSS has been recognized in various media as simply the best. Once again, this past June, the Colorado Springs Business Journal ranked CSS as the best private college preparatory school in the Colorado Springs area, and it consistently ranks among the top schools in the state. This is only possible because our wonderful teachers, staff members, parents, and community involvement. With our balance between tradition and innovation, we have gained attention and respect. The strength of our community is that we realize, as Margaret did so many years earlier, that education is not the filling of a pail, but a lighting of a fire. We're not just a highly regarded college preparatory school, but we are also a school with a strong community. Our mission statement is a testament to our community. Through superior academics and mentoring, the Colorado Springs School prepares students to think independently and to meet the challenges of a dynamic world with leadership, ingenuity, problem solving, and personal integrity. Let's take a walk through the mission. Let's start with superior academics. CSS average ACT score in 2020 was 28. CSS average SAT score was 1298. The percentage of students with scores of 3+ on the AP during a pandemic remained strong. Overall, $4.6 million in the class of 2020 was raised in scholarships. Through the portrait of a graduate, we outline the CSS educational composition. What do we want students to exemplify? From the left side of the sphere, you can clearly see growth mindset, leadership and teamwork, global perspective, integrity, and ethical decision-making are hallmarks of a graduate. What will a CSS student experience? Project-based learning, outdoor education, community service, rigorous and relevant seminars, and capstone projects are still at the heart of who we are. What evidence or proof will graduates possess? In the lower sphere of the portrait is where we identify the relevant skills and learning outcomes. Our class of 2020 graduates are currently enrolled in an array of colleges and universities. The importance of who we are must be partnered with meaningful goals, therefore thinking independently to meet the challenges of a dynamic world with leadership. As we declare in our mission statement, it brings us to our strategic plan. Our strategic plan points us to our future and solidifies our mission of critical thinking, problem solving, mentoring, and integrity. We have 5 goals. Number 1 is enrollment. We aim to build demand and a net tuition and revenue. Number 2, faculty staff. We seek to retain, recruit, and create high-quality personnel. Number 3 is curriculum. We want to continue to create a curriculum that best prepares students for a dynamic world. And 4, culture. We forever want to be known as a welcoming and transformative learning environment that cultivates its extended community and embraces the values of our mission statement. And number 5, financial. We need to continue to strive for excellence, and we must build a culture of financial stability. Our financial goal allows us to execute our programming and provides us with sustainability. When we meet our financial goals, especially through fundraising objectives, we are able to successfully react to a host of situations and provide resources to needs such as our COVID-19 readiness and mitigation program, including items such as our hand sanitizer and washing stations, masks, PPE for health and infirmary coordination, cleaning solutions, and air filters, thermometer upkeep, heaters for outdoor classrooms, additional cleaning personnel in the evening. We are also able to meet our budgets for classroom innovations and improvements, including our furniture upgrades, flooring maintenance and upgrades, space lighting and storage, fixtures and fittings, and aesthetic enhancements. We are also able to maintain and improve our technology infrastructure, device capabilities, and long-term sustainability, including additional computer access for grades 2 through 12, computer science integration, and school-wide capacity building. Successful fundraising efforts will also allow us to have the capacity to provide needed upgrades and improvements throughout the overall campus. We have several ways to give, and no dollar amount is too small. From our cum laude level to our legacy leaders, CSS has designed a giving plan that enables everyone to participate, from a child donating from his or her lemonade stand to a wealthy alumnus or corporate leader and philanthropist. The impact of fundraising at CSS is essential to our success. The annual fund is key, supporting a student-centered experience through people and programs, including professional development, school-wide programs and needs, scope and sequence alignment, and academic programming. Ensuring we meet our school-wide needs means that CSS will be poised to remain innovative and on the cutting edge well into the future. Your giving is eligible for the Colorado Child Care Tax Credit. You can reduce your taxes by up to 50%. We are an intentionally small school that will continue to meet the needs of its families, and we welcome the opportunity to serve more families in the Colorado Springs community. We are pleased to say that despite the pandemic, our school community is thriving. Let's take a look at enrollment. Enrollment trends show us on a good path and trajectory. Here's the new enrollment picture and forecast. As you can see, we've welcomed several new families this year, and we're poised to share our special campus with prospective families. Here are the number of students enrolled this year, and of course we welcome our new families and are so grateful to have them with us. In our enrollment snapshot, you can see the array of students represented at CSS. Enrollment by year, new students by grade, and enrollment by division. For the students who are with us and love their teachers, through the implementation of our Ruler program from the Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence, we are meeting the needs of our students' social and emotional well-being. The RULER acronym stands for recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, regulating. Our teachers are building relationships and caring for students. We want to provide our students with the skills to think critically, listen attentively, and realize that others with their differences may also be right. So when we look at the overall state of the school, here at CSS, we are, as I stated in the outset, strong, vibrant, and renewed. But that is only so because of the hard work of everyone in the Colorado Springs community, especially our Board of Trustees and its working committees. Together with our community, CSS has remained strong and looks forward to additional support in the future. The very able Board of Trustees includes Dr. Pia Hokati, Mr. Sanjay Bhatnagar, Mr. Kevin Patterson, Mr. John Marple, Dr. Mike Edmonds, Mrs. Heather Kelly, Mrs. Lori Malone, Mr. Mike McGrath, Mr. Kevin Penn, Mr. Ben Ralston, Mrs. Jill Ricciardi, Mr. Andy Sabin, and Mrs. Diane Smith. These leaders are helping to pioneer healthy governance and support of the school programs and its resources, and of course, we thank them. We know that 2020 has been so consumed and covered with dark clouds. COVID-19, historic unemployment and economic upheaval, social and racial unrest, destructive and deadly climate change with fires and hurricanes. But even in the midst of all of this, we have the duty, the obligation to press onward and upward. The leaders who will solve all of these problems, both here at home in the United States and around the world, are on our campus at the Colorado Springs School. They are here now. We will not fail them or our nation and world in providing these students with the education and learning they need to prepare them for the future. That is the universal commitment that I know our parents, our faculty and staff, our alumni, and our local community have embedded in their hearts and minds. And that's just one more reason why we love CSS. Thank you, and please save the date for the following events.